Okay, so here we are. I'm going to carry on filming the work I'm doing on the Norvil Commando. I'm just a bit hesitant because I have my brand new lapel radio microphone. Now, I know the sound isn't great on these videos, and all I can say is that I have so many radio microphones. You see these boxes on the left? They're basically full of all bits of electronic malarkey that I bought over the years, radio microphones to try and get better sound, and they've all been utter rubbish. So I just tend to use the microphone that's in the camera. But I've had another go at buying another microphone, and this is the one I'm using now, and I'm hoping it's working. I can't monitor it, so fingers crossed that this is coming across. But I will probably stop filming in a minute and just play it back and just check it's working before I carry on, and otherwise I'll have to film all this again. Anyway, right, so we had a problem that the kill switch was not working on the bike. So I had a look, and this is what I found. That is what's called burnt out wiring. I mean, look at that. That has had a massive direct short at some point, and the wires are just completely and utterly frazzled. All the way up. I mean, I don't know how this is picking up, but it's all, the wires are just bubbled the whole way, frazzled. So obviously there's been a direct short in the switch, which has nearly taken the loom out and everything. Hopefully the fuse would have blown, I'm assuming. But then what someone has done, they've put this loop in. So this loop wires out the kill switch. So what should happen is this wire goes up to the kill switch. The kill switch is on. It comes back down to this wire, and that goes to the sort of ignition and electronic ignition, and so the thing works. But obviously, with the kill switch now burnt out, what someone's done is simply put in this patch, this loop, to connect the two together. Now, I don't for a minute think that this was Norvil. I'm assuming that what happened was that shortly after the bike, it did 900 miles, this bike, before the guy put it in the garage. So I assume at some point that there was this short, but he was in France, so he didn't probably take it back to Norvil, that the switch shorted out for some reason. There was a wires of faulty connection somewhere in the switch, and the thing shorted out. And so what the owner did was put this, unplugged that and then put this patch in so that the bike, ran. All I can say is that I once did need a kill switch on a bike once, and I'm very glad I had it. I was in a small accident, it wasn't massive, but I came off the bike, and the bike was kind of on top of me, and of course it was all still going round. The wheel was going round, and the chain, and I was being a bit graunched by the whole thing, and and obviously I was in a heap and all tangled up with the bike. So you think, well, you just turn the key off. Well, that was easier said than done. I could just reach the kill switch, and then So I mean, I've only ever needed it once in my life, but I was very glad of it when I did need it. So so you don't really you don't want to wire them out if at all possible. So we've got the new switch here, which I got from Norvil. Looks much the same. It's got a different colour, like actual switch. It's darker red. I assume it's probably made by the same company that made this one. I don't know. Repro. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fit the bottom half of the switch on, and then we'll just check to make sure that obviously we'll take this loop out, this patch out, wire it up, and just check it's all working. So one of these, which is the red and white, that's for the starter, and then the other two, slightly the worse for wear here, are for the cutout switch. Okay, so we got the same, I think, on here. Yeah, yeah, red and yellow. Oh, sorry, red and white rather. And then I've got two the same there. Oh no, there is a yellow. I was going to say it doesn't really matter which one goes where, but anyway, yeah. So we've got yellow and white. So I think white is the feed that goes, from the battery, and the yellow and white then goes off to the electronic ignition after it's been to the switch. So that's what we're going to do. Right, I'm going to be quiet for a minute because I'm going to check that I have actually recorded this and, the microphone's working and it's loud. I've had that before where the microphone's been half the volume of the actual one in the camera, and so you can't hear anything I'm saying. Okay, so I'll go off camera and check it's all working, and then I'm just going to take this switch apart, and then we'll have a go, and I'll take the loop. I'll take this loop out here. I'll loosely plug the new switch in, and then we'll see if it's working. Right, I've checked the camera, and the microphone seems to be working really well, so I'm really pleased. Just one thing I wanted to add just before we carry on was I have, of course, completely disconnected the battery before I did that work to the switch, because I could see it had burnt out and I wasn't quite sure what had happened. So I completely disconnected that, and I've also welded. I've got the welder out, and if you remember from a previous video, the rear swinging arm was quite badly scored from the exhaust hanger, and so I've taken all that off and I've welded the scoring up, the score marks, because I was worried that might make a weak point on the swinging arm. So that's another reason why I completely disconnected the swinging arm just while I did that. I didn't put it on camera. I don't think I can film welding. I'm not sure. Probably burn the camera out. So that's why I've taken the battery out, A, because of the switch, and B, because of the welding. So I'm going to reconnect all the battery now. Right, as ever, a simple job turned complicated. So this is the replacement switch, and the connectors, of course, are very slightly thinner than the originals, and they won't fit in the bullet connectors. Well, they will go in, they just slide in, they're not tight enough. Marvellous. The typical thing is, I'll just connect it up. No, because the connectors are different. So what I've got to do now is I'm going to cut these bullets off, and I'm going to crimp in some new bullets that fit. So I'll put that on video because I think it's important to know about crimping bullets. So I'll set the video up on the stand and we'll have a look at crimping these bullets.